Can you guys name a device which can make sound travel faster than the speed of sound itself? I'll repeat. Can you guys name a device which can make sound travel faster than the speed of sound itself? You guys will get 10 seconds. Come on, you're fast. Aeroplane, but can it take a sound?
Microphone.
Microphone, okay, pretty close. Cell phone, perfect. When my housemate asked me this question, I told him the answer. I was expecting, like saying, like, wow, you know the answer and all that. She said, why do you know this answer? Why do I know this answer? I was wondering, why do I know this answer? So that's when it hit me that I like to dig up things. Like, I'm curious about science. Okay. Hence, I keep digging things up and I read articles, and when it comes to these things, okay, they're in my background sometimes. They come out. Okay. And this connected back to me, like, let's go like 5-6 years back. I don't remember the exact time. I was in Podar International School in Bangalore, and there was one small kid who we were doing a workshop on science, and he came up to me and said, "Sir, do you know ants sleep?" I said, "I don't know," so because I don't like biology. So he said, "Do you know ants sleep?" I don't know. So he said, like, "Sir, do you think really ants sleep?" I said, "No, I don't know." So there's one friend of mine was there, like, "Why don't you find out?" So that guy went and he actually caught an ant and put it in a jar and gave it to him. And it was like almost half a day. And he came back, and the kid was like, "Sir, ants do sleep. They sleep for every 2 seconds. They stop for a little time and then go ahead." Like this guy, this guy is second standard. He must be making up some stuff. Actually, I went back and said, "That is true. Ants do sleep while walking itself." So I was really like amazed. Oh my God, these kids are really smart. Now fellowship. I wanted to be cool in the class, and like 2 months into the fellowship, I put up a question on the board saying curiosity wall. You write all your questions on this. And I put up one chart, and 2 periods later, Tamil period, I came back and it was full. Like, who wrote this? I was like wondering like if some teachers wrote it all. No, we wrote it and all that. I read it and it was pretty good. Okay, fine. I'll put one more chart. It was filled up, and what comes next? Guys, hurry guys, sir. Many times. Can you tell me the answer, sir? Like, why does the phone is like that, sir? Why is it like this, sir? I was like, oh my God, I don't know the answers. Okay, I still don't. Like, there were so many questions there which I haven't answered. Then I started a Google class. As in, every Friday, last hour is going to be Google, where all those questions I just Google them and you read it. Because I didn't have answers. So, when we went around this, if these kids are so curious, if they're asking so many questions, but when you ask like simple questions like, okay, if you are now well, where do you go? To a priest or a doctor? Okay. And most of my kids said priest, like, we go to church. And I didn't understand why these kids are so curious and they know a lot of things, and why are they going to church when they're not well? Okay? And one of my kids, when I said this in the class, and Iman said, "Sir, even doctor comes to church. Why should I go here?" I was like, okay, nice. So these questions were bubbling up, and I thought, like, as a city, we need something really strong in exposure. That's where we have been struggling, and we need to build something really strong in this way. So we thought, like, why don't we create a community where all these questions can be answered? Not by fellows. We can't answer all the questions because we don't have time for that probably. And we don't know some of the answers. Like, can we build a community where these questions are answered by each other or by the people who come in? Hence, we got an idea. We have an idea. Eureka.
Who designed that?
Logo was designed by Bhuvi here, and right now we're thinking of making it as 3 pieces. One is going to be pre-event, as Eureka is going to be an event. Pre-event for this, and there's going to be a post-event thing. Okay, we don't want this to be like just one day thing where kids are coming in, and of course we want them to be wow throughout the day that day. Okay, we don't want to stop it all that. So what we thought is events we're designing are going to be so, like, it's going to take a lot of effort from kids who are going to do research before coming into the event. An example of which is going to be like they're going to create their own science theory and make a video out of that and present it on that day. And the best part is that we thought that there can be a Nobel Prize for that day, which is going to be a junior Nobel Prize, which every kid is not going to get, of course, because the ones who are the best, who are the best. So Yes, that's the and the event. Anybody has read the name?
Yeah.
You guys know the event is there going to be experiments and talks and fun stuff. And we just want kids to be like, oh, this has to be like this, like it can't be more India than that. And when it comes to a post-event, what we thought was that that day we're going to be assessing kids throughout the day. Every kid is going to have a sheet and it's going to be a fun type, that also not a boring one. Probably. So after which a fellow will get a chance to identify who are those ones who are really like, okay, I want to become Einstein in like 10 years. Okay, I really want to do something in science. Those are the ones who fellow can pick from the classroom. Okay, and like kids from every different classroom are going to be part of the community which we're going to create after the event. Hence, this process continues, and those kids will lead Eureka probably in the future.